Hi guys, today I want to talk to you a little bit about safety when using prop weapons. Basically, a lot of actors get injured and some even killed when using prop and live weapons on stage and in filmmaking. I think the most significant one, which you may know, is probably Brandon Lee died while making The Crow. He was shot in the abdomen because they had a live round in the chamber of the gun that was used as a prop on the scene with blank rounds, and the bullet went into him and he ended up dying because of that. And basically this is a very real concern for an independent and even a big studio when making a film. So how do you know whether or not a weapon is safe to use? Very, very simple. No weapon is safe to use, no matter how harmless it may appear. Now this is a Karma. Some of you may recognise this. But it is a pretty safe stage weapon, this one, because even though it looks like it's got a nice sharp blade here, that's actually just, it's the same width as the top of the Karma. So it's not going to cause much damage if you actually hit with that. However, if you hit at very high velocity, it's got a very thin edge, so it can still do damage, so it's not wise to muck around with anything like this. Also, it's got a very thin point here, and you've got to be aware of stuff like this, because if that goes into your temple or into your forehead at any kind of force, that is going to do considerable amounts of damage. I mean, the Karma is a weapon for a reason. It is it was actually used as a gardening tool, but it is very, very dangerous if you don't know how to use it or if you're mucking around with it on set. So always make sure you know what you're doing with a weapon like this on set. I like using knives, and this one here has had its blade blunted. It's very, very safe in regards to having a blade blunted. However, still, you've got to deal with the tip of the knife. The tip is very, very dangerous, so you've got to be very careful with a weapon like this. Even if you've just got a sort of shot where you've got someone coming in like that and there's someone else in front of them and they raise it up and come down, you've got to be very careful because the tip can still go through clothing, go through flesh, do serious amounts of damage to your actors. Onto the more dangerous sort of prop. This is a hunting knife. I got this one for my series, and there is no way I would really allow anybody to have this on set with another human being. There are serrated edges at the back, there's serrated edge there, you've got a very sharp blade here. I'm not even going to run my finger along it because I cut through paper with it earlier. It's not very nice, this one, but it looks really, really good in terms of being a filmmaking weapon. Very, very scary to look at. Got a nice reflective blade, so you can basically do some cool tricks of the light with it, but not a weapon to have around people, basically, on set. You've got to be very careful with something like that, because you can do considerable damage with a knife. Now on to other types of weapons. Prop guns. I like prop guns that are real. I'm going to do another video on this sort of thing, but it's always good to make sure that the barrel has already been blocked up, so you're not going to have any chance of projectiles, going through there. You've got to make sure that your actor is completely safe if you're using something like this. Now this one's started to fall to bits on me because I haven't screwed it in recently, but you've still got the dangerous hammer there, so you've got to be very careful. Make sure that there are no bullets in the chamber or whatnot. Even if you've not, even if you're not using it seriously and using real ammunition, it's always good to make sure there's nothing in the chambers. Just make sure that you're going to be all right. If you're in the States, someone might have put a bullet in there for a bit of a laugh, someone like me, but you want to be safe, and look out for your actors. They've got to be looked after and safe. Same thing with this gun as well. You've got to make sure that everything's blocked up in there so that it's nice and safe. Letting light in there, you're not going to have any problems with something like this because there is a block in the barrel. Anyway, very important. Even a gun like this can do considerable amount of damage because you can bash someone in the head with it. You can cause damage. Everything is a threat. Your actors are going to die if you are not careful, you know, so always best to be very, very careful. Check your weapons, make sure you've talked through your actors and they know what they're doing on set. You know, if you say, right, I want you to lift the knife up and I want you to grab that person's arm, etc., you want to do it safely. So you've got to talk through, they've got to know what they're doing. Do it with something which isn't a knife, you know, do it with, say, a permanent marker or something like that. You know, if you've got an actor who's like going to stab someone else, they reach up with a permanent marker, grab the hand, sort of wrestle a little bit. You know, you can do it in slow motion as well. They come up, grab with the knife. That can be done in slow motion as well. The knife comes up, grab, wrestle, knife goes away. But basically, if you've got something like that, you can speed all of that up. So it would be up, grab, you know, sort of thing. But it's always in control. Always have control over the weapon. Don't just start throwing it around like that. Because if you start throwing it around, you know, you're going to start trying to flip it over. I'm not even going to do that, you know, because I don't want this going into, like, between the legs or anything. But, yeah, basically, whatever you do, make sure that it's safe. Go through it with your actors. Understand the weapons which you are using. It's like the karma. You think that is the threat. It's not. It's the edge, you know. You can still do considerable damage if you whack someone with the base of it. These prop guns, you know, they are heavy down here. These are made of real metal, you know. They have no plastic parts. You've got a very heavy thing here to bat someone with. You know, this could go into someone's temple, into somebody's eye. You've got to be very careful when using weapons, you know. And that goes for everything on set. You know, you can have lights falling down. The set is a dangerous place. You know, there's murder, mayhem. Everything is going on. There's electrical wires fizzing everywhere. But as long as you've got good control over your weapons and you know what you're doing with them, you're not going to die from them. You can worry about the, you know, lights and everything falling down on you, you know, the scaffolding and everything later. You know, but first thing first, weapon safety, very important. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. I know it may be slightly weird, but it is very important to know what you're doing with weapons and to make sure that they are safe. If you are going to be using rounds for guns which go off, or you're going to be using live ammunition, you've got to know what you're doing with that. You've got to, if you never point that at a human being, if it has a, you know, the potential to actually kill them. If the barrel's blocked up, it's still good to make sure that there's nothing in the chamber in case it explodes in your face. You know, so it's very, very important to be safe. Anyway, I've rambled far too long, and you're probably all bored to death, so I've killed you without using any weapons, which is really good. You know, biggest mass murderer of all time, me. But anyway, I hope that's been helpful. Take care, have a good day, and be safe.